I am so excited to see everyone, to be here together, to take in this beautiful day, to welcome all of the prayers that have happened already this morning, and just breathe them in, the blessings far and wide that have already been spoken in this room. The tears that are being shed in the back of the room. It is all a blessing. It is all a blessing. And we open our hearts in love and compassion and joy and recognize that we are instruments of this love and compassion and joy that has already been expressed throughout this room today. In case you forgot since last week, I'm Ann Rea, and I have the joy, the privilege, the divine appointment of being the senior minister here at Everyday. And I say divine appointment because there isn't anything that any of us do that is not a divine appointment. We may not recognize it. We may not think it's so divine at times. But nonetheless, more close to my mouth. Okay. Nonetheless, everything above, below, in between, everything requires of us that we show up as best we can, and that is our divine appointment. Now, what's that got to do with assumptions and other stories we make up? Which is our theme for March. Well, assumptions are interesting. You know, the story that Carol shared with us about the farmer who decided that the kid looked guilty, sounded guilty, smelled guilty, walked guilty, and he was convinced that he was guilty until he found his axe himself in the middle of his field. And then all of a sudden, the kid didn't look guilty or sound guilty or walk guilty, just like that. He just looked like any other kid. And we make assumptions like that. Yep. We may think we don't, but we do. We make assumptions like that. We make assumptions even about ourselves, that we can't do something, or we can't figure out how to take care of something, or we can't figure out who to call to ask for help to take care of something, because we should be able to figure it out on our own. Well, who said? You know, one of the reasons that we're all together is because we're all together. The one life that is all life, that is this glorious, unendingly giving, loving spirit, expresses itself through us as we show up. And that's whether we show up at our best or not. That may sound a little confusing. We may think that the only time that we are showing up as spirit is when we're showing up at our best. But that's not how it works. This life is all that we are. And so whether we're at our best or at our worst, we are still revealing it. Really. You know, we hold other people accountable in sometimes differently than we do ourselves. Don't we? And we'll say, well, you know, they're making choices that don't look very spiritual to me. That's one of my favorite things, is when somebody says something isn't spiritual. Because there's nothing that isn't spiritual. We are the ones who put a label on it. Yep. We are the ones who put it in a box. Now, the spirituality in it, the beauty in it, the gift in it, whatever the it is, may be hard to find. And this generation may not even find it. But that doesn't mean it isn't there. God bless you on the truth. So, assumptions and other stories we make up. And our first story of the month is it's going around. Now, maybe not so much now as it was when I was working in corporate, what's fondly called, or not so fondly called, corporate America. People would say all the time, it's going around. Whether it was a cold, or the flu, or a rumor, or whatever it was. It's going around. And people so believed that it was going around that it did. Because they were preparing for this thing, whatever it was, that was believed to be inevitable. Now let me just ask you, is anything inevitable? No. Nobody said death and taxes. I am so amazed.
And there are some people who
Well, taxes aren't inevitable for everybody. And death, it remains to be seen. Right? And what does death even mean? It doesn't mean the same thing for everyone. So if nothing is inevitable, then just because somebody comes into the office with a cold or leaves for the day with the flu, how did that come to mean that everybody was going to get it? Or their kids would come home from school, because you know how it is with kids. With kids, they bring home everything. Anybody heard that? I won't even ask if anybody ever said that. So these bits of information that aren't even really information, they are a snap to judgment about the likelihood of something. And then we have the great delight of passing it on. So there's the likelihood of being in the company. We were speaking with a friend last night who learned, she is a registered nurse and she's retired now, and so she makes house calls, particularly to the elderly. And she learned once she was in the house and had been there for a while yesterday that the couple had COVID. And she said to us last night, I'm going to test tomorrow because I hope I didn't catch it. Now, believe me, I love this woman. She's a very close friend of ours. The time to protect herself was when?
When she walked in.
Before. And what could she have done to protect herself? Wear a mask. And what else could she have done to protect herself? She could have set her mind to knowing that no matter where she goes, she is guided, guarded, safe, and protected, and surrounded by life itself. That's the time to protect ourselves, and that's the way. Because the idea of susceptibility is an idea. The idea of vulnerability is an idea. And I am not saying that there aren't people, nor am I disregarding the people who have weakened immune systems, for whatever the reason may be, that need to take extra precautions or not even be out there if they're particularly susceptible. What I am saying is that our thinking and the feelings that follow are so much stronger than we realize, are so much more powerful than we realize in terms of protecting us or setting us up. Now, we don't want to think that we would ever set ourselves up for anything other than great, good, plenty, right? But it happens. It happens. And all that I'm asking by going through this whole mechanism that many of us have been raised so accustomed to, of making things up, of drawing assumptions, is so we can stop it. Because it doesn't serve us. It does not serve us. And anything that does not serve us, anything that does not nurture us, anything that does not uplift us, anything that does not encourage us is not our lane.
Right.
We're already in somebody else's lane, trying to figure out their stuff. Good luck with that. Without having taken care of home base. And once we leave our lane, then we're messing with somebody else's mess. Or good, whatever the case may be. But we're messing. We're poking around in somebody else's business. So let me just say this about that. Once you've got your own business 1,000% squared away, go ahead. Go ahead and go into the other lane and just see if it makes any difference. Once we have our own stuff 1,000% squared away. I didn't just say squared away. I said 1,000% squared away. Big difference. Because there's always something. The opportunity that we have, which is why we're all here right now, the opportunity that we have to learn and share what we learn and grow and share how we grow is where our attention belongs.
Yes.
It doesn't belong on talking about what's likely or what might happen or what the chances are. Oh, that would have been a good title to add. It's all right, I'll talk about it all. It does us no good. What makes us feel stronger? What lights us up? What turns us up? What revs us up? Other than me, of course. That's where our attention should be. Sorry, I shoulded on you. I don't like to should on you. I rarely should on you, but I shoulded. That's where our attention should be. Because anything else is not tending to this very fertile, potent soil that is our being. Age has been mentioned a couple of times in the room this morning. And I'm one of those silly people that doesn't think age matters diddly squat. Because it's an idea and it's a measurement. But there's nothing else that is attached to it automatically. Right?
Right.
There's nothing else. Oh my God. Well, I'm whatever it is now, so I probably have only this much time left. Really, you want to go there? I don't think you want to go there. How in the world do you know? It could be eons beyond that, or not. What's important? What's important is the quality of life that we are investing in improving right now.
Right.
The quality of life that we are investing in improving right now. And how do we invest? Well, first of all, we hang out with each other. Because that's an investment. That's an investment, hanging out with like-minded people in our own universe where we know what it means to encourage each other, and we know what it means to celebrate each other, and we know what it means to love each other. That's an investment. Having a spiritual practice of any kind is an investment in this instrument and the quality of life that we are saying yes to. What are we saying yes to when we say, oh, well, let's see, I'm this old, and I probably have this much left. What are we saying yes to?
Meditation.
Thank you, Patty. Exactly. Limitation. Limitation that is a human construct. It's an entirely human construct. So, one of my favorite images that I saw a long time ago on Facebook was this 96-year-old woman that was about this big around, and she was sitting in the lotus position, yoga pose, lotus position. You all know what that is, right? Holding herself up with her hands on the floor. So she was elevated from the floor by about this much. She has her hands on the floor, and she's been doing yoga since she was 20-something. And she never stopped. She never stopped because she thought she may only have 5 or 6 years to live. I love that image. I love the image of the woman with her leg up the flagpole, or whatever it is, the bus stop pole, in a full stretch, who must be, I don't know, 90. The point is that when we say we think we're close to done, and we better prepare for being done, then both things become true. And when we say that our life is whatever life we have in front of us is worth living to the fullest, and discovering how to do that and investing in ways to do that and share it with others, and being involved and loving and compassionate in the world, then we do that. But do you feel the energetic difference?
Yes.
It's night and day. I'm not saying either way is bad or wrong. I'm just saying that for those of us who plan on being timeless and ageless. We better have at it.
Yeah.
Because the words and the music have to match.
Right. Mm-hmm.
We can't just talk a good game and not participate, not figure out what, when we're putting one foot in front of the other, as we love to talk about. When we're putting one foot in front of the other, where do we want to put that foot that is going to lead us to life-affirming choices? And where do we want to put the next foot? Take the next step that's going to lead to life-affirming choices. We can't do it looking backwards. We can't do it trying to fix something from the past. Subject of another talk. The only way we can do it is by being in this now moment and being fully present as the person we are today and being as intentional as possible about that step. Because I'll tell you what, life-affirming experiences and life-affirming thoughts and life-affirming inspiration feels a whole lot different than its opposite.
Exactly.
It feels completely different from its opposite. The opposite is defeatist. It is de-energizing. And as Patty already said, it's limited. What I encourage us to do this week is to just tune up our awareness a notch and see where we might be making assumptions. See where we might, in our thoughts, be making compromises rather than insisting on life-affirming experience. You think you can't do that? You think that you can't insist on life-affirming experiences?
Yes. Yes.
As you believe, so it is. If you believe you can insist on life-affirming experiences, if Thomas believes, as I know he does, and everyone around him is supporting him in believing that his hip surgery is golden, perfect, done, fabulous, easy peasy. And so it is.
And so it is.